There are patterns in your mindset right now that are keeping you stuck. Have you ever had thoughts of inadequacy or judgment or maybe lack or scarcity? Well, they are really starting to erode your success mechanism. And you're not alone. We all fall into those kinds of negative mindsets occasionally. The difference is how long you stay trapped by the fear that's created by that negative mindset. In today's video, I'm going to show you what those negative mindsets are, how they come about, and then I'm going to give you 3 steps to break free of those and really start moving forward and building momentum in your life. And at the very end, I'm going to give you one real good instant hack that you can take away and start using in your everyday life to switch that mindset up as quickly as humanly possible. So where do these mindsets come from? You know, things like lack and inadequacy and comparison and judgment and scarcity. Where do they come from? Well, they're built into us right from when we're little. Those things are just ground into us by the people around us. The school system teaches us. Then came TV and we got, more input, inundated music. All this stuff is just filling our brains. And of course, our subconscious, our brain gets programmed without us even knowing or understanding that it is being programmed, right? So it's really about, us learning how to control that input. Now, what are those, right? So like lack is like when you feel like you just don't have enough. Maybe it's your finances. You're always wishing, hoping, dreaming you had more finances. Or, if it's judgment. I had a real bad mindset around judgment when I did my very first Ironman in New Zealand. And I trained all year for it, and I told everybody about it, and I had a whole bunch of people come down to watch me do Ironman. And just before the gun went off and everybody started, I was just laying there in the water crying because it became so overwhelming that I wasn't going to live up to all these other people's expectations of how I should perform on the day. And I wanted to be pulled out of the water and quit right there. Thank goodness the little life-saving guy that was in the water there on his surfboard was smarter than me. And he made me swim to the start line, which was about 60 yards away. And by the time I got there, my mindset was all fixed and I got on and I did my second best time ever in that very first one. But just the overwhelming negativity just like devastated me right from the start. So, it can happen. It's how can we have mechanisms to get out of it, okay? So, those are all one. So lack, scarcity, that's the one where you don't feel like there's enough around. I know when I started my business, I felt like this. I was like, wow, there's a lot of guys coaching, is there going to be enough clients for us all? Is this saturated, And it's so baloney. There's always enough. There's enough for everybody, right? There's enough clients for everybody. There's enough business for everybody. There's enough everything in the world for all of us, okay? So it's all that stuff gets programmed in there. And if we're not careful, all the inputs we have, all the social media scrolling, all the music we listen to, the TV we watch, the people that we hang around with, maybe you've had this experience at work, let's pick fictitious Harold, our colleague, and we know him as the most negative guy, the Eeyore of where we work. And we go to lunch and he comes along, and when we leave lunch, we're as negative as he is. We're coming back, I hate work, I hate paperwork, rah, 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 rah. Boy, you're going to have to start limiting your time with Harold because he's giving you a negative mindset, right? So we have to control the input. That's the big key. All right. So what are the 3 simple steps that we can use to get unstuck from the soul-destroying negative mindset that we've got? All right. So one is we need to really make sure that what we're doing is, I had to put some notes down here. We need to catch ourselves when we're thinking these thoughts, right? That's the most important thing, is make sure that you log somehow in a journal or maybe in your phone note-taking or your voice memo or whatever, log that you had that thought, what you felt like you were scrolling and all of a sudden you felt crappy about your body image because you saw a bunch of people your same age that all were like ripped up, shredded Arnold Schwarzenegger types, or maybe you were, same thing, you might have been on social media and you see somebody that's your age, or maybe you're with your friends and they're doing super well in their career and they've thrown all this money around and you just feel inadequate. Like you're comparing yourself to them and they're not you and you're not them. Okay, so catch yourself thinking. And that acknowledges that you've recognized that negative mindset. Make sure you write it down. And then try to figure out what caused it. What was the input? What was the situation that caused you to have that negative mindset? That's the only way we can start learning to control what is giving us those negative thoughts, okay? So make sure, catch yourself thinking. Number one thing, that is you have to do it. Because if not, you won't recognize when those things are coming to get you. So make sure. 2, we need to replace those negative thoughts with something else, a better programming. Now, one of the easiest ways to do this is through affirmations. And I know everybody has a negative connotation about affirmations and how it's all this weird mumbo jumbo magic. It's not. Affirmations are used by all the top performers in the world because they need to program their mindset, right? You can't expect it just to happen on its own. You have to program it. So affirmations are short, precise, they have a profound, give you a feeling inside yourself. So make sure that you do some affirmations. Now, the best way to do them is if you can say them out loud, pardon me. And if you can say them out loud in front of a mirror, is even better. And if you can say them out loud in front of a mirror with passion and belief, that's best ever, right? And you don't have to do them all the time, but if you did them in the morning and at night, massive change to your mindset. And because you're reprogramming your brain. Now, they have to be believable. If you're doing an affirmation around getting out of debt, for instance, and you're $300,000 mortgage plus a car plus whatever in debt, and you're giving yourself this affirmation that you're going to be out of debt in 2 weeks or by next month, you're not going to believe that. So therefore the affirmation is not going to work. You got to make it actually believable. Now, I've put down in the description a link to a free checklist with how to build your own affirmations and a giant list of just affirmations you can grab. Find the ones that suit you, that that your emotions respond to, and just use them. Start somewhere. Remember, starting and doing is way better than overthinking, planning, and just not getting onto it at all. All right. Then you need to, so we've got affirmations. Then we need to set better goals for ourselves, right? Make one thing a priority, because once you have direction, negativity is hard to get in, right? Once you have direction and you're focused and you're driving forward and you're really getting after something, negativity is very difficult to get in. And so get a goal. Build great actions towards it. Write the plan out. And make sure that you're able to achieve this on your worst day. Don't pick something to do that you can only do on your best day or your best week. Write it up so that you can perform it the minimum acceptable standard for you. Make sure that that's what you're planning, right? Because you have to, consistency of doing this is what's going to keep the negative mindset out. Because you're moving forward and achieving and doing, you're going to be more and more positive, more and more active in what you're actually doing, and the negative inputs aren't going to be there. Also, you won't have time to just sit there and doom scrolling through what you're doing, okay? And the last thing is the simple hack, right? Now, here it is. This is a real easy one. When somebody asks you, "Oh, good morning, how you doing?" Right? Everybody always asks you, "How's your day going? How you doing?" You need to respond with a special comment, right? And so the first word is whatever you like to use. Awesome or excellent or great. Make it a real over-the-top type of word. So, how you doing this morning? I'm excellent, or I'm awesome. But it's the second part of the response that is the key, and that is I settle for nothing less. So Harold comes up and says, "Oh, how you doing this morning, Andy?" And I say, "Oh, I'm doing awesome. I settle for nothing less." that tells our brain that there's huge changes for us. We settle for nothing less than awesome or excellent. So when I feel tired later on, my subconscious is looking, going, wait a minute, we are awesome. We settle for nothing less, or we're excellent. We settle for nothing less, and it'll go away. And the more you can program your brain, because that's just an easy thing that you can do all day, every day. I constantly have people ask me, oh, how you doing today? Hey, how's it going? How's it going today? And I always use that response all the time. And it just changes how I feel. You stand a little taller, you walk a little prouder, you attack things a little bit better, right? You stay focused a lot longer. So use that little hack to get things going. Hey, if you've enjoyed all this content, remember to subscribe and like. And if you really want to get moving, download my Stone Age Success Quick Start program. Links in the description. It's completely free. 30 days where you're going to defeat this mindset, get going, really build momentum going forward. And if you do download the Quick Start program, then I will send you a link to my free community where you and like-minded others we'll be achieving, contacting each other. I'll be holding coaching sessions in that community, responding to comments. We'll do coaching calls where I'll teach you something and I'll respond to questions so I can really help you get going. And it's completely free, okay? So all you got to do is download the Quick Start program to really get yourself going. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're onto it. Remember, you're excellent. You settle for nothing less. I'll see you next time.